Welcome to Go Gettas Podcast, the podcast we happen to say we do anyway. I am Colby.
And I'm the zookeeper. You can call me Fee.
What?
I'm the zookeeper. The zookeeper.
What is this? Is this a quote from something? Or
No, it's not a quote from something. I just because I was calling you all sorts of animal themed insults earlier.
You were for like 5 minutes straight.
I just thought it was appropriate to be the zookeeper because I just felt like hurling insults at you, my best friend.
So to give everyone context, I basically was like, oh, I didn't put the podcast on my calendar today. Are we recording today? And I did this while I was at work. So I went back to go focus on work stuff. And then so I've read enough enough information and watched enough videos to know this about myself and to know this about people with ADHD is that like if you want to try and keep yourself on task, you can do one of two things. You can either like try to center your mind and make sure that your brain is quiet, or if that's hard to do or impossible for you to do, you can modify your surroundings to give yourself more space and less distractions. And so I actually have, like, my phone is always on Do Not Disturb, and the Discord tab on my work computer is always muted because I can't, like, if I hear a notification, I have to go to Discord and clear every notification before I get my time back. I don't know why. I just can't do it. So I sent in this question and then went away and then just came back to Discord because I could finish what I was doing. Giant list that this man was just like trying to provoke me into saying something back, and I didn't even read it before he was like, fine, I'll let you go for now.
You cantankerous crab. I had to. And then that's not it. They didn't even end there because like 3 hours later, like right before we started to record, I called you a Harlequin chimp.
You did.
I don't know what my obsession was with animal-based insults was.
Yeah.
Today I just thought it was funny. They just kept coming to me.
You got the spark, and they wouldn't stop.
Dude, sometimes it's just how it is. Like you're on a roll, and you're like, I'm gonna fucking chase this high and keep doing it. Right?
Yeah.
So that's just the case.
Yeah.
By the way, if we're recording, if you hear stuff in the background, it's because my door's open. It's because all the dogs are in my room, and if I close the door and someone comes in, they will bark really loud, and I want them to just run out of my room when that happens. It's because my sister's mopping in the other room.
Hell yeah.
But we have some fun stuff today. But before we start, I just wanted to touch on this before we get into long topics.
Mm-hmm.
Our friend Jen sent us a link in Discord about Gundam Crocs.
Yep.
Now, I didn't see if you wrote anything, but I think they're cool. I'm a fan of. I don't know who here is. I'm a fan of Crocs. I'm wearing Crocs right now. Mm-hmm. I love Crocs. They're comfy, and those Gundam Crocs, they look cool. Would they match anything I wore if I got them? No, but they're cool.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not a Croc person, right? Like that's not who I am here. If you're watching the stream right now, I've got a picture of them pulled up.
Those are some cool Crocs.
I don't like them. They seem unsanitary, and they seem like they'd smell weird after a while. And I also don't really enjoy having my bare feet out anymore. In fact, something happened in junior high. I used to I tried to come to school in sandals. I used to be barefoot or sandals guy in 6th or 7th grade, and then they were like, "No, you need to have you need to have some socks on." And so I was like, "Fine, I'm gonna wear socks and sandals." And they were like, "Closed-toed shoes," and I was like, "Fine." And something happened then, where now I'm like, "Nah, I can't have a like sandals or slides or no, none of that. Can't, just shoes and socks for me all day, every day, forever.
How dare you? I'm gonna get your wife to beat you up because me and your wife are like very on the Croc train.
You both are, and if I'm not mistaken, the Gundam Crocs are going to be available for children, and so we were thinking like, well, my kid needs some pool shoes. It could be a good option. Get him the Gundam Croc.
But they have men and women sizes.
Yeah.
But like, if it was for kids, it would say boy or girl.
Yeah, I think I don't think it's available now. I think it's like
if you're a child, they would not call you a man. They'd call you a boy.
Yeah, they'd say no, you can't buy these. It's illegal.
I'm just saying, Crocs are comfy. I wear them all the time.
Yeah.
I was just saying, like, you wear Crocs, you put Crocs on, you have to take out the trash. Bam, don't have to put on shoes. What? I have to go to the store and I look like a mess and I don't want to put on shoes. Bam, Crocs.
Mm-hmm.
Just that's all it is. Like,
no, they fill a need. There's no arguing that. There is a need out there. There's the amount of times that my kid is like, I want to go out into the grass, and the people that we bought this house from are fucking psychopaths. So like, they did something in the backyard where they were like, okay, we're gonna have a nice area with like plants and grass and the trees and stuff, but our dogs can't fucking go in there. No, they got to stay on this side. And on this side, there's no grass. It's just dirt and rocks.
Jesus.
And like, so when we got the house, we were like, okay. Like, we finally talked to our neighbor, and that's what he explained, like, why they did it. And we were like, oh, okay. So in order to get into the grass, I have to walk over rocks. And so I can't get to my grass in bare feet. And I'm like, well, listen, I got to go put on my shoes.
You wouldn't have to if you had Crocs. You just slide them on.
Yeah.
Like Crocs are like very comfy. They're like a house shoe.
Mm-hmm.
I wear them when I'm in the house.
Yeah.
But I go outside all the time barefooted. I'm like a fucking a chongo, which is Mexican for monkey. That's what my dad used to call me.
Damn.
Because I'd like walk around barefooted all the time, and like not that I ever got over it. I'm so much more comfortable barefooted. I hate putting socks on. Feel so restricted. And I was gonna say earlier when like you said after junior high you never wore it in like open toe anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever seen your bare feet. Maybe once.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's weird seeing as how like long we've known each other.
Yeah. I mean, even after like school.
Not that I want it.
Yeah, not that I'm asking for feet pics or anything. Even after like I would get home from school or whatever, I wore shoes like constantly. It's very rare that I would take off my shoes, especially like if I'm at home, I'll consider taking off my shoes, but not my socks. Like I have to have socks on.
It was really weird because like I'd go to your house in high school, and I would take my shoes off, but. Yeah. There you are with shoes, and I'm just like, this is your house.
Yeah, but my shoe, like, the thought is like...
Let me smell them.
The thought for me is just like, I'm worried about, like, walking into a room, and then, I don't know, there's, like, something in the carpet, like, there's somebody dropped a screw on accident, and now I'm like, ow, my foot, oh, it hurt. No. Or even worse, this is probably the worst thing, the sensory experience of walking on something wet, both barefooted and with socks. I can't, like, I will start yelling.
Just don't wear them. Don't wear socks.
Like, yeah, I don't like it when it's on my bare feet either.
Like, why not? Just rinse your feet off and, like, dry them off.
That's the thing, is that's what I have to do. I can't just be like, oh, man, that was wet, and then, like, go about my business and go back later. Like, everything gets dropped, and I'm like, and I, like, hop on one leg because I don't want to get my wet foot on a place that's not wet and make that wet. So I've got to like hold one foot up and hop on one foot over to a sink and shove my foot in the sink and just pour water and soap on it and get it nice and clean again. And then I'm like, all right, now I'm good. And now I'm going to take care of that wet spot.
You're the worst kind of autistic.
Yeah, I'm not denying that, dude.
Oh my god, that's so much. Like,
it's hard. It's hard having a kid having a kid and having cats that are older, because the cats will throw up. So I have to be very vigilant about like, did any cat throw up here? But the worst,
the minute
my kid is so much like me in so many ways. One of them is just like he gets absent-minded and he just like wants to fidget with something. And currently, one of the things that he does to fidget is just like lick his hand. He'll just like he'll put his tongue out of his mouth and just like rub his hand all up and down his tongue until his tongue is dry. And I see him doing this and I'm like, all right, just be very, very aware. If he starts to touch you, things have to stop. And sure enough, like there are times where he's like, oh, like he like wants to turn around and like grab onto me to like scooch off of something, and I immediately grab it and I'm like, nope, I'll do it. I'll put you down. Don't worry about it with your wet ass gross drool hand. Ugh.
Was he raised by cats? Like,
yeah, I don't know why he started doing that. I'm like, stop, dude. I've told him. I'm like, stop. Like, you're making your hand yucky. You got to stop. You should stop doing that.
Hey, dude, you gotta. That's gross. Just fucking your kid.
That's what I do. Like, there are times where, like, you know, there are times when I got to bring out like the dad voice. So I'm like, hey, you have to stop doing that. Like, that's not an okay thing to do. We do not hit people. And then there's times where it's like, hey, do you want to like go outside and check on the strawberries? Like, fun, Dad. But whenever it's something like that, I'm like, hey, listen, this is an existential threat to my existence. Can you just please stop doing something so gross, so near me? Please, dude.
How are you my son and this gross?
Come on, man.
Come on, man. I don't want to have to do this. Just holding a gun to his wet hand.
Oh, come on, man.
I don't want to do this, son. You're my only kid. And he's just like walking closer to you, fucking menacing.
Like, what? Is Dad, pick me up? I'm like, no.
Just in a corner, just God, like you have a kid that comes with a fucking what's it called?
The territory?
Territory, yeah. I lost train of thought for a hot minute.
No, it does. That is one of the things that you're like supposed to expect, right? But man, it's just whenever your kid is just like doing it near you. I mean, even if he's eating a sticky popsicle, I'm like, okay, I know what I'm getting into. I know this popsicle is going to be sticky, and I've got to make sure to have like a wet rag ready to go whenever he's done to like wipe his hands up, make sure he doesn't get sticky anywhere. But when I just see him licking his hand, or even we gave him a bowl of yogurt with like a spoon. We gave him a bowl of yogurt with a spoon, and he like started eating with the spoon. But as always happens, he's like, using the spoon is kind of hard. So then he just digs his hand into the yogurt and starts licking the yogurt off his hand. I'm like, no!
You ever just get sick watching him? Or?
Yes!
I fear, like, when Jess's kid gets that age that he starts doing. I hope he doesn't, because, like, my mom will, like, correct that behavior quick, and I hope Jess does, too.
Get the fuck out of here!
Push his high chair over. Eat like a fucking adult.
Go on, say, hey, if you want to eat like a dog, you get on the ground and eat like a dog. Kid's like, okay, that sounds fun.
Oh, get out of this house! And we put beans in his high chair. Just here you go, mijo.
You're so good at this.
It's funny because like you see a dog's licking off stuff and that's fine. Like I love my dog. I treat him like the king he is. But, like, when the kid starts doing it, I don't know, it's weird. Like, licking his hands, put his whole hand in his mouth, and just chewing his food, like, with his mouth all open.
Yeah.
Ugh, so gross. So gross looking.
Well, like, because there's...
I don't mind as much as you.
There's a middle ground there, because, like, whenever they're like a baby, he used to eat like refried beans, and just like there's no way that he would like put his fork in and put it in his mouth. So it's like he gets it all over his face, he gets it all over his hands. It falls on the ground. It's like I'm kind of used to that at this point. But he's now
refried beans with a fork. That's dumb.
Well, I mean, or a spoon, whatever, a utensil.
Give a spoon.
It depends on how thick they are. If they're nice and thick, you don't need a spoon.
Just use your hands, use your face.
Just put your face in. Just get a straw.
Swim in it.
But he's at the point now where he usually isn't super messy about things, but he still has stuff like that where I'm like, fucking,
just fucking,
please.
You're like on the corner on the table, just fucking Snow White, like, oh god, and your wife's just like, he got it all over himself.
That's not. We got to clean you up now, and I'm like,
oh, don't look at me. Just fucking melting. Just
if you look at me, somehow your drool's gonna get on me. Stop.
I feel like you'd have that, like, oh, I see it on you. It could be on me. Just kind of.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a number of times where, like, if I lay on the ground and I pick him up over me, he'll like laugh enough to where drool starts coming out of his mouth and I have to dodge it with my face, which is horrific. The nightmare. I could see it coming. I'm like,
It lands on you, throw him. Just
throw up. Oh
no. You're throwing up, you throw him against the wall, he gets up and just comes at you, just full drool.
Yeah,
just,
no.
What's the matter, Dad? Just fucking God. I hope my nephew, I hope he's not a gross eater. I hope he's like a proper gentleman.
Yeah,
I mean, eat.
That's what we all want.
I mean, but if he is, I'll just eat in my room and never come out again.
Yeah. Just lock the door.
Just lock the door. That's how you do it. Anyway, enough of this gross talk because I'm starting to visualize.
Yeah, listen, the past week has been like it gets said often enough that it's become a tired trope, but like living through historical events sure gets tiring.
You know what's funny though? I didn't really think, we talked about it last week about what happened with Trumpo, but like I didn't even think about it. Like that might be in a history book.
Oh yeah, of course it is.
And it's funny because like when you think about history and like assassinations and like presidential stuff in books, you're just like, huh? You're like, that what a crazy time. And we're living through it, and I didn't think like two things about it. Like I didn't even care, and like. It's not until like after we talked about it, I was like, oh, that's a big deal, actually.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, like, sometimes it depends on like what kind of person you are, but like I'm sure there's some people where like you get, you get somebody coming like a kid is like, oh, where were you on 9/11? You're like, I was in Spanish class.
I was in wood shop.
And then they're like, well, how did it affect you? And you're like, it may go into the airport harder, I guess. I was in Texas. That wasn't really a big deal. Like, it was a big deal to the country, and everybody was like, oh, those people shouldn't have died. And I feel very sad about this. But like, I went home and ate mac and cheese, and it was okay. Like, I don't know.
I was confused. I think I've told this story on the show before, but when we heard about the Twin Towers being attacked, I thought it was the Frostbank buildings in Corpus. And I was like, why would someone attack those buildings?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Until like I realized, oh, it's not in Corpus.
Yeah.
Because like I was in the middle of going to wood shop, and I was just hearing people talk about it, and that was like the day that they made us like watch TV all day.
Yeah, I imagine probably where your brain got that from. You probably heard, oh yeah, a plane hit the World Trade Center, and you were like, somebody drove a plane into the Trade Center in Corpus? That doesn't make any sense.
That, but also like I heard the Twin Towers, and I didn't know what the fucking World Trade Centers were when I was younger.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. And so you're like, oh, I guess 2 skyscrapers in downtown Corpus? That's weird.
Yeah, like my mind was very local at the time. Like I didn't know what was going on outside of the world. I didn't know about what's going outside of our town.
Yeah.
So like, I was, man, I don't know. I was like 14 or 15. I don't know. I had to have been. So yeah, I didn't care, but I could tell you where I was and how I felt, and how I felt was like indifferent.
Yeah. I like, especially being a kid and not having like not being connected on like a global scale to the country and the country's identity, and like really grasping like, you know, what it means or whatever. Because like, again, this assassination thing, if X amount of years from now, you know, my kid is like in a social studies class and they're like, oh, like, ask your parents, where were you whenever, you know, this historical event happened? That's another thing where I'm like, oh man, yeah, I remember that like a bunch of people on Discord were like, I don't know, seems kind of fake though. And then it turned out to be real, and we were like, wow, dang, that crazy. Anyway,
your kid's gonna be like, "What? Where were you when this happened? When this happened?" You're like, "Ah, well, I was at home, and then we did a podcast on it."
mm-hmm.
So listen to that episode.
We did a podcast episode. Yeah, you know what? Why don't you go back and listen to this episode real quick? That'll get you caught up.
You'll get my thoughts about it on that episode. This is very funny.
Yeah, because my thoughts now are, I don't know, that was a while ago.
It was like, yeah, exactly. That was so long ago, I don't even care. And honestly, it's been like a week. I don't even care anymore.
Yeah. Okay. So that's actually part of this. So this has been a historic week for a lot of reasons.
I think the lowest reason is Tenacious D being in trouble.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're breaking up, but like it did impact their tour.
Yeah,
because they like that day that it happened. I think it was Kyle's birthday, and he made a very poorly timed joke, and it made Jack Black overreact.
Yeah, I like. So here's what I'm gonna bet. I'm gonna bet that like he made a joke. Basically, what Kyle Gass said is like, don't miss next time, which is like, you know, it's a joke. It's an edgy joke about this thing. It's not like a thing that you should do.
But if you see the clip, like Jack doesn't like bat an eye. He's just everyone laughs and he goes on with the show and he's all fun and everything going on. But like the next day he was like, "That's not cool. It caught me off guard. I was left my mouth agape and all this shit." I'm like, you don't have to fucking placate this. You could just be like, "Oh, I didn't know he was gonna say it," but no,
yeah,
you don't have to fucking go to the extreme and say that you were just like you were shocked. But I get why he would. Because, you know, he is a big child actor now. Not child actor, but like he is very connected with children content.
Yep.
So he's got to distance himself now. You know, not only with the Kung Fu Pandas, he's going to be in the Minecraft movie. He's Minecraft Steve. He's fucking Claptrap in Borderlands movie. He's like in several different like projects like pertaining to kids. We know him as like fucking Satan worshipping Jack Black and Tenacious D, but like nowadays he's not really. He's wholesome dad Jack.
Yeah, and it makes sense. Like the reaction from Jack Black makes sense because after that happened, I'm positive he got calls from like an agent and from fucking like people that are like, we have to damage control this. People are gonna like, this video is already gaining traction. Because like the main thing is like obviously not a great joke to do to like be like, oh, we should like kill the presidential nominee. It's funny.
Yeah.
Not a great choice to make that joke, especially if you're a public figure. But like if you're a super big public figure, that's one of those things that like brands aren't gonna like it, and the people that like want to pay you money and have deals can like back out of your contracts, and that's one of those things that like Jack had to probably be like, hey, listen, like I don't give that much of like I imagine the conversation between him and Kyle where like I don't give that much of a shit about this joke. It's fine. But this puts a lot of shit in my life at risk. So here's what's going to have to happen. Like, there's no way out of this other than delay the tour. I'm gonna put out a pretty strongly worded, like, this is unacceptable. You can't do this kind of thing. And we're just going to take a break from being Tenacious D until like, I don't know, after the election or something, which was not great because they were actually signed up to do like concerts for like Rock the Vote. So that's not great.
Yeah, and not only did they stop their tour like mid tour, they took down their merch store. Like for no reason, actually.
Yeah, I imagine that this is one of those things where like you hire somebody or like you get somebody that's like, okay, I've done the research, I figured out like what you're supposed to do whenever, you know, blah blah blah. So what I think is that like they have somebody that's like, okay, how do we stop this? So like Jack can't make any money from Tenacious D. Jack has like stopped the tour. Jack is like out.
Black.
Yeah, Jack Black is he's out. He's out of everything involving Tenacious D and Kyle Gass, and like he's now no longer reaping any rewards for being part of this. Because if they didn't take down the merch store, there'd be a fucking Fox News article that'd be like, oh fucking. He says that he's sorry, but he's still getting money from t-shirt sales. And that's enough for people to be like, well, I mean, like...
That is true.
That is true.
He's making money off this controversy.
And even if people don't give a shit about it, and even if, you know, like, even if the majority of people wouldn't care about this, be like, that wasn't a great joke. A lot of businesses... have to like they don't know what things people are going to get really up in arms about. It's very clear to me that like whenever somebody like is getting canceled or like does a thing, that businesses don't really have a good vibe check for like, we shouldn't support this person ever again anymore, or like, you know what, just lay low for a little bit, don't fucking worry about it. There's just a bunch of like babies and Russian trolls on Twitter who gives a shit about him. Like I imagine that's what's happening here, is business being like, we're gonna fucking pull out if you don't, you gotta do something, Jack. Jack's like, all right, how about all of this? And they're like, good boy, you could keep being in the Minecraft movie,
you could be in the sequel. Just fucking God, that's just what it is. I don't think it's gonna be that way much longer, but then again, I don't know. Like, Tenacious D has been like on the ball lately, because of Jack. But like, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe Kyle's like kind of. I don't want to say he's over it. It's just, I don't know. He's at an age where I got my royalties and people are gonna listen to the music anyway. Maybe I'll just stop.
Maybe, but like, what I'm imagining is that like they're just going to take a break for a while and then come back. The worst thing about this for Tenacious D is that this was just making a joke about something, and you can't blame it on anything. This week, somebody, I have no idea who, somebody sang the national anthem really poorly. Sang it real bad. Everybody was like, oh, this is embarrassing. What a shitter. And then she came out afterward and was like, oh, sorry, I was really drunk when I did that. I'm going to go to rehab and like stop drinking alcohol. Honestly, and if you have a thing that you could blame it on, and that gives you a step-by-step, like, okay, after I've like gone to rehab, proven that I've like, I'm okay, and I'm like, I do a couple good things for the community. Basically, anybody that criticizes me is like, well, paid her dues. I mean, you know, she's doing the work to try to be better. Kyle can't be like, I'm going to joke rehab and I'm going to go help Donald Trump's campaign and look at gunshot victims or whatever the fuck. He can't, like, there's nothing he could do to like repent for this in the public eye. He just has to wait.
Yeah. Here's the thing, and like, I don't know, maybe you have the same sentiment. I like Tenacious D. Mm-hmm. I like him enough that I don't care about the joke. That like I don't care about political jokes. I make jokes on both sides. Mm-hmm. I'm not a fan. I'm a fan of Tenacious D, but not of their new stuff. It just doesn't gel with me.
So I, weirdly enough, I haven't actually done much of their new music. After they did Rise of the Phoenix, they put out another album after that, and I didn't grab it.
I did not like Rise of the Phoenix. I just
Oh,
did
I
not
really
like
liked. I liked like 4 or 5 of the songs on Rise of the Phoenix.
I didn't. I heard when that album came out. It came out on Spotify. I listened to it and I was like, I did not like that. And I just went back to listening to the Tenacious D fucking movie soundtrack and their first album,
Man,
which are albums that I really like.
can't relate because fucking Hollywood Jack and the Rage Cage, great song. The Roadie, excellent song.
I'll have to go back and listen to it again because I only listened to it once when it came out and never again.
The thing is, there's a bunch of songs on there that are not great. Where you're like, this is fine.
I also didn't like their video game song. I hated that song. I really hated that song. It just sounded like like I know Jack Black likes to play video games, but it kind of just sounded like they were naming off video games and being like, "Look, we do this too."
Yeah, hey, I know about a video game.
So like it sounded out of touch, and I didn't like it. I like the music video though, but that's about it.
Music video was quite good.
I like the Super Mario Bowser song.
It's a good one.
That's it, dude.
I like what I think is that we're probably going to get Tenacious D back. I would be surprised if we got them back before the election happened. It wouldn't surprise me if they came back next year or the year after. And, you know, after Kyle makes a couple of apologies, probably fine. The thing is, though, he tweeted an apology where it's like, yeah, just a dumb lapse of judgment. I should never have done that. That wasn't a great idea. He deleted it after a while, though.
He was like, yeah, I didn't mean that shit.
He was like, yeah, of course I didn't mean it. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I'm Rage Cage.
Yeah.
I don't mean that shit. We all know he doesn't mean it. He just has to say it.
Yeah.
But anyway, like I hope they take a break and come back and make an album that I actually like, because I don't like hating on Tenacious D. Because I like them as people and I like their early music. I like their movies. But man, they haven't put out something that I liked in a while.
Man, weird thing here. Blink-182 got back together and put out an album. I still haven't listened to it. I'm nervous it's not going to be good, and so I'm like, man, I don't need to listen to new music. I've got enough music.
That's the thing too. Like even before they got back together, like I wasn't listening to them. I haven't listened to anything past the Blink-182 album. And I'm fine with that because I've heard like a track or two. I know you showed me one of them, and I was like, I don't like that.
Yeah,
It just. I know they're older. I get that. It feels like it is.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, the Matt Skiba album, really good. Got a lot of really good songs that are very classic Blink-182. But Tom DeLonge is an artist that I'm not super into anymore. So, like,
yeah,
I don't know if I'm gonna like this, and I don't really want to give it my time either.
Yeah, that goes without saying for like a lot of bands that I listen to. I don't like listening to like a lot of their new stuff, except for the one band that can never let me down. That I love all their music. Coheed and Cambria, best band in the world. I can listen to their new albums and love them, and that's just not even me being like a mega fan. That's just me being like I give the album a listen, and of course there's like some songs I don't like, but for the most part, I like all their music. So they can never go wrong.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Like that's whenever you got a band like that, I feel like that's usually how it goes. And I thought that was Blink-182 for me, but then, then Neighborhoods happened, and I was like, never mind.
Oh, never mind. I guess I don't have a favorite band.
Yeah, you know what? No bands anymore. Not a big fan.
No bueno. That is funny. Like when you ask someone like who their favorite whatever is or what their favorite whatever is, they can never like pinpoint it down. Like I don't get the question like when people ask you what's your favorite movie. I'm like I don't have a favorite. I like a lot. Like
yeah, I mean, to be fair, for me, I've had to answer that question enough that I do have like, here's my top 3, but it's hard. Like any given day, it's like, well, I don't know. Is Kill Bill 1 better than Kill Bill Volume 2? I don't know. Maybe not today.
Your favorite movie, Speed Racer.
Speed Racer's a great movie. It's not my favorite movie though. Shawshank Redemption, pretty close up there too.
Ooh, I'd have to say, if we're like in a toss up of top 3, it's for sure like Shaun of the Dead or like Hot Fuzz, and I don't like Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz are like in my top movies. Like I know a lot of other movies are like some of my favorites. Like I could watch Dawn of the Dead, the 2004 movie, anytime, and that's great. Tenacious D movie, I could watch that anytime and it'd be great.
Yeah.
But like I can't pinpoint it down. There's not just one. I can't just have this one movie and be like I can watch this for the rest of eternity and be okay with that.
Yeah.
It's a handful.
It's hard to pick out just one. But it is pretty easy to pick like a top 10 or to just like name ones that are like really important and then be like, oh, I guess that was 10.
Yeah. But if like the question changed to like who's your favorite band, it's always Coheed and Cambria. And that's an easy one for like I like a lot of bands. Favorite band, Coheed.
Yeah.
Hands down.
That'll do it. So, I mean, just gotta hope that they don't come out with an album where you're like, no shit, they fucking lost it.
Oh man. Well look, they've been going for like 20 years and there's not an album I don't like, so
all right.
There's that. I'm just saying. And they got a new album coming up too. And they put out one song and I already like it.
Man. You know what? Good for you.
Listen, this isn't like blind fan stuff. It's just
they're just good.
They're just good. They're just, what's to say? They're just good. I just genuinely like their music. I love Claudio's voice. I love his body.
I love his feet.
Whoa! I only saw him that one time. You know, I just like the sound. They have the sound that's distinctive, and I like it. I did hug Claudio that one time, though.
You did.
And I'll never forget it.
I've never washed since.
I haven't washed my arms since. Just fucking. Yeah, we looked down, my arms are just black. Every time I get in the shower, I wear these long gloves.
Yeah.
You know.
Like, I can't wash his stank off.
This wasn't even a time before like phones were a thing. I had a very cheap phone. God, how old was I? Like 19. So that was what, 15 years ago, 16 years ago. It was like 20. I was like 20. I was living in San Antonio. He came to San Antonio. I got tickets. I saw the concert. I still have the signed drumstick from the whole band at the time. It's right up there. I'm pointing. You can't see me, but I'm pointing.
It's right there. Look, right there. Why aren't you looking?
I got the drumstick that the drummer was handing out at the end of the concert. I stuck around. I got it signed, and then I guess no one was watching the entrance to the back, and I just walked through.
Hell yeah!
And there they were. The band was all in the back, and they were talking to some fans, and people were taking pictures and getting autographs. I got Claudio's autograph. And then I think he thought I was gonna take a picture, but I didn't have like a camera phone at the time. And he put his arm around me, and I just went in for a hug, and he was like, "Oh." And I was just like, "Oh man, the greatest." And yeah, that was kind of it.
He was like, "Oh, you made it weird."
I wish, like, I was famous enough to get in contact with him to ask him if he remembers, but I doubt he does.
Man.
But yeah, that was my meeting like your heroes moment. and it did not disappoint. They say never meet your heroes. Well, I met one of mine, and it was great.
Yeah, good for you. I couldn't do it, man. I would be too awkward and weird, and
I was weird. I hugged him.
I know. I have a
So-
picture with Aisha Tyler in which she very much looks like she doesn't want to be there, but that's how she took a picture with everyone that was at that event. So I was like, all right, that's fine.
That's good enough. That's good enough. Man, I wish I had a camera back then, because then, like, I probably would have that picture framed. Like, I don't know. I'd
Yeah.
probably take it with me everywhere and have him sign it like over and over,
Mhm.
to where you can't even see the picture anymore.
Yeah.
Because I've seen him in concert like I think 3 or 4 times.
Good.
And they're gonna be in Austin again, and I want to see them, but I just don't have money to go see them right now. Maybe next year.
That's how it happens.
Plus, they're gonna be with a band that I don't really care for, so it's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch them when they're touring like by themselves with like 2 opener bands that I don't know, so that way I could just be like, this is fine. Then the fucking main course comes.
Yeah.
So,
Fee,
but yeah,
guess what?
chicken butt.
Nope. We had some more unprecedented stuff that happened this week, and
President.
gotta talk about it. So,
Unpresident.
that's right.
Get it?
So,
Get it? Do you get it?
Yes, I got it. For the past month and a half or so, Joe Biden, since he was in the debate with Donald Trump that he did just abysmally in, he has been like, I'm not dropping out. I had a bad night. I didn't talk very good, but I'm not dropping out. I'm fine. Everything's good. Don't worry about it.
Don't even think about it.
Then, obviously, I think 2 weeks ago, Trump got his attempted assassin happened.
Yeah.
And then there was the Republican National Convention last week, all the way through the weekend, in which they basically said, like, we're going to nominate Donald Trump, and we're gonna his running mate's going to be this man named J.D. Vance.
Ooh, that's a cool name.
Honestly, pretty fucking sick name. He's like most people, like most Republicans, have been like, Trump is a shitter and I hate that guy. And then as soon as they're like, hey, do you want a spot with like in Trump's whole like regime thing? They're like, oh, I love that guy. He's great. He's fucking best. So
they offer you a piece of the power. I mean, you just gotta throw your pride aside and take it.
now you're like, fine, it goes. Just like God, like Ted Cruz, like God.
Shit, I remember that.
Yeah. Anyway, so he gets the nomination, and then Joe Biden Sunday morning is like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and drop out of the race. I'm gonna go ahead and endorse the vice president, and we'll see what happens. And
Kamala Khan.
yeah, Kamala is a strong contender for no other, like, there's a bunch of reasons why she's a strong contender. She's a strong contender against Trump because she's not fucking old. It's like the biggest
true,
one.
But she's also not going to win. I don't think she has like many.
Oh, I think she's going to win. I think it's going to be not, I think it's going to be close because every election is, but I don't think it's going to be as close as it would have been if Biden had been running.
No, I still think that she's not gonna win. I wouldn't vote for her. I'm not gonna vote at all. I don't want to vote.
I don't want to vote.
Don't fucking at me. I don't want to vote this time. Like, there's no one I like. But like Kamala, like, I don't know. I don't know much about her to say I don't like her, but. I don't think she's strong. I think that's like a case for me to say I don't think she's a strong enough candidate to run against Trump, the man who just got assassinated.
The man who had the attempted assassin. Yeah. There's an argument to be made there, but I think it's just like you don't know enough about her. And that's that's mainly down to just her being the vice president and you not having enough like context with her. I think she's actually fine. She's not the best, but no candidate is going to be the best. So, like, I think it's fine. However, this is a really weird thing that has happened. Like, I don't. The last time that it hasn't happened in like our lifetime. I don't think it's happened in my parents' lifetime. Where a sitting president was like, "Yeah, I'm not going to go seek a second term. Just I did my one and I'm good." And especially this deep into the race. So Republicans are currently shitting themselves because they're like, you can't fucking switch the candidate this late in the game. What the fuck? We're going to sue for fraud or whatever the fuck.
It's because like they shouldn't have been pushing for Joe. He was in no, I say Joe like we're old friends.
Oh, Joey.
Old Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't have been pushing for Biden from the get-go. He wasn't gonna do a second term. Like there was no way he could pull it off.
Mm-hmm.
It just felt like throughout the year and like last year it progressively like he was just getting worse at speaking and like he was like I don't want to say he had dementia, but like it just felt like he was slipping into it.
I mean, he definitely, again, not a doctor, don't want to like diagnose him with anything, but like he does have that thing that some like people that are older get where they're like during the daytime everything's fine, they're on top of their game, they're like, oh, I think this about that, and I've got these opinions or whatever, and then as the sun starts to go down, it's called sundowning, their cognitive abilities start to degrade. And it's partially due to like they don't have enough energy and they need to like get to sleep or whatever. But if you notice like the things that happened that were like pretty markedly bad, the two largest ones being the debate, and then he was introducing Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, and he introduced him as Putin. Pretty bad. I think though, like the debate happened at night. If it had been during the day, I think Joe would have had a much stronger showing. But the fact that that's even a concern is like, ugh. But now Republicans are in a weird place because this whole time they've been like, oh, Joe's old. He can't do it anymore. And now Kamala is like in her 50s. And now the Democrats just get to be like, oh, I don't know. He's like 20 years older. Trump is like 78 years old. I don't know about that. Seems a little too old to run. Don't you think? Everybody that said this a week ago.
Yeah, that's I heard about that. That are like, they're just like, oh, Joe's not old enough to run. He's good. And then like he drops out and they're like, oh, fuck it. Trump is so old. And like, he's a little bit younger than Biden, but I'm just like, yo, don't. You can't fucking. I get it. I get who he is, and I get why. But like, don't show your fucking. Don't show your true colors like on Maine.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like it just shows how petty you are. Like I get you want your person to win. It's just don't do that. I don't want any of them to win.
Yeah, I don't. There's like so. There was this thing going around, especially like during the 2016 election, where like Trump was very like anti-immigrant, anti-immigration, and people were like, oh, you're fucking oh yeah, and like also like changing your name because you're trans or whatever. They were like, well, your family name used to be Drumpf, Drumfp, and that gotcha. I fucking got you. And then so now if I read anybody that like says that, despite the fact that I know that we politically probably agree on everything, I'm like, no, I'm good. Actually, I don't need to keep reading this. You're just being really embarrassing and making me look bad.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I don't side on either side. I joke on either side like equally. But also like, fuck, what was I gonna say? I lost my train of thought again.
You were gonna say, uh-oh!
Uh-oh!
Uh-oh, stinky!
Stinky! Uh-oh! Doo-doo! Fuck! What was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, I was gonna bring this up. I don't know, like, people keep saying, not keep, but like when Trump ran the first time, they're like, people are gonna die if he gets elected, and I don't think people like really died.
I don't think people fake died.
Not like fake died, but they made it seem like people were gonna get dragged out in the street and like fucking like slaughtered and like fucking drained of their blood out into the sewers. And like I didn't hear anything besides all the riots that were going on.
So I can challenge that one pretty easily.
People are saying that again, and like I don't know.
I mean, I can challenge that pretty easily. So, like, there's two things to be aware of here. One is Trump's response to like COVID in general definitely increased the amount of people that died as a result of it. There's no question about that.
Yeah, but they weren't talking about like a fucking vaccine. Like they were talking about a plague that happened. They were talking about like if he got elected, like what's it called? Minorities and like people of different like sexualities would get drugged in the street and like stabbed or thrown off buildings or whatever.
Well,
and like that just didn't happen.
What has happened is there has been an increase in like radical far right violence. So like you didn't used to hear about like trans kids in high school being stabbed to death, but you know that's happened like twice this year.
Like 10 years ago, I didn't hear about anything trans, so I mean, there's that.
I mean, yeah, but you weren't there. Like, you weren't in those spaces. Like, trans people have existed for a very, very long time.
That's what they tell me. That's what I hear.
Yeah, because it's true. That's why you hear it. It's because it's true.
I have to check the facts on this.
Yeah, I have to go look this up. I have to go fact check this. Hold on.
This all sounds like some lefty conspiracy.
This sounds like some made up bullshit.
Listen.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also another provable thing that like there's a thing called Project 2025, thing made up by a conservative think tank called Heritage Foundation, which has been backed by Donald Trump, and they have basically been like, this is what we want to do in the first like year of Donald Trump being back in the office, because that's definitely what's going to happen. And there's a bunch of shit in there like outlawing pornography and forcing adults to detransition if they're trans, and
I already know about the pornography thing. We can't even go on the hub in Texas anymore.
I know, just embarrassing.
Not that I went.
Yeah, just, not that I would go there. I have other places for the more hardcore stuff.
Yeah, I mean, no.
I mean, what?
Maybe we talked about it before, but like. When the hub got dethroned in Texas, I saw it on Reddit, I think, and I was like, no way. And I picked up my phone and I went there. I was like, yo, I was like, it's for real.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, I wonder if it's like other places too. And like, sure enough, I think there was like 2 different sites that were banned in Texas. But then I know of like 6 different sites.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I go to them. It's just I know of them.
Yeah, a friend told me.
And so I check out all of them. I'm like, oh, okay, so it's like not all of them. It's just like the big ones.
Yeah, basically what is happening as far as that goes is the states are being like, hey, you need to provide an ID to the state. To like, it's up to the whatever the websites to validate that you were like over the age of 18, and you have to do that with like a picture of your driver's license or your state ID. And so rather than doing that, a bunch of websites are just like, fine, I just won't fucking be on in your state then here, which is like good.
It's not like there isn't ways around it.
Yeah, there definitely are ways around it. It's
just got my trusty VPN.
The old Vippin. That's what we do.
Yeah, but not that I use one. But
yeah, not that I use one every day. NordVPN. If you go to NordVPN/Go-Go's podcast.
Hey! Don't be giving out no free advertising. We don't go to NordVPN. Jeez.
God, don't do it.
NordVPN's got to come to us, and then you can go.
Man.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
But yeah, so they did that in Texas. It's not like a big deal. It's not like fucking every night I was like, what am I gonna do to get to sleep?
Yeah.
Like, I gotta see what's on the front page. Like, it's not a big deal. It really isn't a big deal.
Yeah. It's not that bad, but it's a hallmark of more conservative policies in different places, and those are policies that they want to enact at a federal level.
Which is so funny because I feel like these conservative types like to be fucking witch hunt like porn and stuff.
Oh yeah.
When we all know that they're like nasty behind fucking closed doors.
Yeah, apparently Grindr broke because of the RNC. Like Grindr in the area where the Republican National Convention was being held broke because of too much traffic.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So like they're there.
Grindr sucks.
They just don't want to talk about it.
Exactly. Conservatives are the most closeted fucking types. Like, don't fucking at me. I already know.
God,
I'm on Grindr.
I'm there. Okay, I'm in the shit.
I fucking see it. I see it. I see that it happens. I fucking know. You can pretend all you want that you hate gay people. You hate putting weenies in your mouth. But I know.
Okay.
Listen, these. I don't know why. I don't know why they're so fucking opposed to it, but they do it behind closed doors, and then when they get caught, they're like, "Oh God!
Oh no!"
Why not just be more open about it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
even if you're married, just be like, "I'm bisexual."
Yeah,
and I'm adhering to this nuclear family that I like, but when the wife's not around or when I'm out. Sometimes I like it an orgy together, you know. I like to
just to get the sin out. I call it the purge.
Exactly. Purge the evil out of my bunhole. My bunhole. Mm-hmm. Fucking who's this Goofy?
Yeah. Ugh, no.
When Max isn't home, I like to invite all my friends.
No. No, Goofy, don't do it.
The first person I call is Pete. Oh, he likes to take out all his anger out on me, and I love it.
And big fan.
Big fan. Maxie, don't listen. Just don't. I know you're listening, Maxie. Don't though.
Don't do it. Listen, I like a lot of I read this recently that a lot of like what usually comes down to whether or not you have like a conservative viewpoint on the world or a liberal one comes down to whether or not like you're attributing like morality to actions or attributing like harm to actions. So like the argument was like if a man went to a grocery store and purchased a chicken carcass and fucked it, should that be illegal?
No.
Yeah, the answer's no, because the chicken's dead. The chicken, like, it's a waste of food. I don't like it. I think it's fucked up, and I think it's weird. And I think this like makes me think way different about you. But like, okay, really, you're not hurting anybody, I guess.
You could do it. I just don't want to be around you anymore. Like,
yeah, it's weird. And like the inverse is like, it's not a moral thing to do. It's like it's a strange like, oh God, what a gross human being you are. You should be punished for that. Is like that's what some things come down to. If you take it to that extreme level, like that's where that's where you can very clearly see the lines that someone has drawn. And so that's why whenever you scale it back to like, well, should pornography be legal? Then people are like, no, because masturbation's a sin. You're like, I see. That's where you're coming from. Got it.
It's how can it be a sin? My palms have never been hairier. It's just I
got such good grip.
My grip strength is off the charts, and you don't see me going to hell.
Mm-hmm.
Just listen. What's it called? I don't think like, especially like on porn sites, it's all just like vanilla shit. Like it's not like extreme. Like you'd have to go to a fetish site for that.
You
And
would.
I feel like like me personally, like I always say I'm a centrist because I do have like some conservative beliefs. Nothing fucking extreme, just like just basic stuff. And I believe in I have some like leftist what's it called, beliefs. And I mesh well with everyone. I don't think anything should be outlawed. I mean, but if you're gonna go and fuck a rotisserie chicken, you probably won't be like a friend of mine. I don't think you should. I don't think you should be punished. Besides, punished with not ever being friends with anyone. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. I like a lot of it does come down to that and everything getting attributed to like, is this a moral thing? Is this not a moral thing? And like personally from Kamala's stuff that she said, where like a priority is going to be like trying to erase medical debt and trying to like make sure that things are safe for people, trying to get Roe v. Wade back. Like those are all things where I'm like, yeah, people should be able to get an abortion again. People should be able to like, huh?
I said, never mind. I might vote for it. Get in medical debt.
Yeah, that's one of the big ones. Is like the first term for Biden was like, I'm going to try to eliminate student loan debt, and he fucking did for a lot of people before Republican courts stopped him. That's sort of the next thing on the list is like, if we could start eliminating medical debt for people that are, I don't know, just trying to be alive. It's not like it's you can have a pretty selfish argument to be like, well, you shouldn't have gone to school and taken out loans you didn't know. Like you can have that argument, and if that's something you really believe, it's hard to argue against that because you're like, okay, I guess if like everybody had the perfect foresight to be like, oh, this degree is not as worth as much as like it costs, and how do we fix the college system, like all of that. But if you argue against somebody being like, oh yeah, I'm like, you know, $40,000 in medical debt because I had an accident, it's like, why wouldn't you want to make that go away, dude? Like, what choice did this person have? You can't shop around for fucking hospitals.
Yeah, like, dude, if the debt went away, that'd be super awesome. Like, I have some medical debt from like when my legs got all fucked up.
Yeah.
And I'd love if that would go away. Also, like medical debt from having sex with all those rotisserie chicken.
Yeah, I burned my dick a little bit. Okay.
You don't imagine how much rib bones they have until you're in there. Just I'm sorry, that's stupid.
Fuck.
Stupid. Yeah, but no, like for it'd be so great because like I get collection calls all the time, and I'm just like, did I tell you about the one I got the other day?
No.
Like a fucking collection call the other day. They call me, and they're just like, yes, is this Felix? And they use my whole name, and I'm like, well, I don't ever say my name, and I don't ever say yes or no. I'm just like, I'm like, who is this? What is this call? And they're like, this is in fucking regards to such and such, and we're a collection agency. And they're like, is this Felix? And I'm like, no. And the guy on the other line says, yeah, it is. And I fucking laughed and hung up on him.
You're like, you got me.
You got the fee. And but like that made me laugh. Like I've never heard anyone.
God, that's so funny.
But the other reason I always say no to collections because like there's so many like fucking scam callers nowadays that even if like I genuinely wanted to pay the collection back, I don't trust anyone calling me, like cold calling me. So like if she could just make every medical fucking debt disappear, that'd be great because then I know like if that happened, that anyone calling me saying, oh, well, we're fucking here to collect medical debt, I'd be like, oh yeah. Like, you haven't been watching the news, have you?
Yeah, you want to collect my ass?
My whole ass? Then yeah, that'd be great. If she could get rid of debt, like medical debt, and because that's the only debt I have.
Yeah.
And if she could just make going to college free, I'd love to take some classes.
Yeah, fuck it. Like making college more accessible at the very least, because like the topic is hard because college is so fucking expensive. And it's like medical stuff where it's like, oh, because of how sort of like bloated and weird everybody is about it, where it's like, oh, you have insurance, great, well now it's going to cost 7 times as much because of reasons. It's a similar thing with college where it's like, oh, because people are like getting cheaper loans, we can like increase the cost of tuition and increase the cost of books or like whatever the fuck. It's like, it's so crazy. And so it's like, it's rough out there to try and, make sure that you're, that you're able to like have credit and to be able to like do the things that you want to do, because things are so prohibitively expensive. For college, it's like, how the fuck are you supposed to go to college without a loan? Either your parents pay for it, because you're not paying for it. You like being able to pay your way to do college while you're doing college is so fucking hard, unless you're going to like a community college. If you go to a state school, it's fucking over. Like, there's next to no way you can do that.
Yeah. If there's no way I can go to college and be like, here's $20K, I'm ready to learn. That'll never happen. If I went to college today for like, even if I wanted to do just like a course in like media, like for like video editing and like our art or like fucking commercial reasons, I'd never pay them back. Never. I wouldn't even be able to get off the ground. You think I can get a loan? I can't get a loan.
Yeah. You're crazy.
You're crazy. It's BS. No, it's all lies.
I'm looking this up because this was like, this was a Biden platform that I'm pretty sure Kamala Harris is taking on as well for doing no medical debt next year. But what they've already done is medical debt can't be included on your credit score anymore.
Oh,
fucking great.
My credit score is about to jump up.
Hell yeah, baby.
If Kamala gets elected, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I hope she does now. You've changed my mind.
Now I'm in.
You've changed my mind, Colby.
It's all it takes is like one policy where you're like, well, I give a shit about that one. Hold on.
Well, now I'm a believer, right? I didn't believe before. I wasn't on that train. I was just on. I was at the train station. Mm-hmm. Not gonna board any train, left or right. But then like you gave me the one reason to get on the left train.
Where they're like, hey, listen, dude, if we go this way, we're gonna do a bunch of stuff for the environment. We're gonna try to get like abortion rights back. You're like, none of this really affects me. They're like, oh, we're also gonna try to make medical debt go away. You're like, all right, where's my ticket? Is it free?
Yeah, when can I join? Can you come now?
Can you give me a free sign to put in my yard?
I will vote for Kamala Harris. Give me a big flag to put on my car.
I'll do it right now.
If I put a fucking like I don't even know who she's running, like who her vice president will be. Mm-hmm. But if like I had like a fucking Kamala whoever fucking flag on my car and I drove it to work, my car would probably get destroyed. Mm-hmm. Like quote unquote by accident.
Yeah. Oh, who knows? Something happened.
Yeah, something happened. And like because what's it called? Like where I work in Ingleside, there are just people flying Trump flags everywhere.
Of course, yeah.
And like it's not a big deal. I don't really care. But like if I a brown person. Go to the store and, surrounded by all these, I don't like to call out white people because like I'm friends with a lot of white people. I want to say majority, but like all of my friends are white. Mm-hmm. All these white dudes, because that's where a lot of white dudes work where I work, mm-hmm. would probably surround me and destroy my car and probably give me what for.
They'd say, hey, what's going on here, friendo? What are you doing being brown publicly?
Yeah. It wouldn't be because I'm brown, it's because I'm flying the fucking
What are you doing? What are you doing hoping for things publicly? How embarrassing.
I just want my medical debt to go away. Oh, you want your fucking medical debt to go
so now
away.
I gotta pay for you because you got them bad little jiggly legs, huh?
Like, I didn't ask for this. I just don't want to pay for it.
Please, come on, man.
I'm poor. I work just like you. Oh, sure. I bet that's the cover. I bet you're just at home, fucking laying down. I'm like, we're at work right now. Oh, sure. Fucking God. Yeah. I don't know if I'd fly a flag on my car.
No.
Maybe I'd put a bumper sticker, maybe on the inside of my car.
Yeah. Yeah. Put it in your wallet.
I don't think like the people that fly like the Trump flag like down here are bad people. They hold their own political beliefs. And I've met some people down here that are like really nice. It's just I don't want to be on the opposite end of their rage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I something very similar. Like during the 2020 election. Yeah. During the 2020 election, we had a yard sign. We had a Biden yard sign, and everything, like our neighborhood was like, you could tell sort of like older, kind of conservative, but they're also younger families there. There was the only other person that had a Biden yard sign was like catty corner to me. So like across the street and one house down. And it was the wildest, most silent like celebration I've ever seen. Cause like the day after the election, whenever it was like, all right, everybody's calling it that like Biden won, we like walked outside and I was like grabbing my yard sign to go like put it back inside and like, you know, start recycling it. And she happened to be outside too. And we caught each other's eye and I like put my hand up like, woo. And then she put her hand up like, woo. And that was it. That was the only acknowledgement of like, yeah, we did it. Anyway.
In solidarity.
I'm going to go make my house safe now. Bye.
In fucking like inspirational music starts playing, you like lift your fist and then like you see the silhouette of them like lifting their fist as the music just starts welling up and then credits start rolled as you're like taking it back inside your house.
And then a fucking gigantic pickup truck with 2 Trump flags drives over my yard, does a burnout, and grass is just destroyed, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Come on, man. Yeah, that'll teach you to fucking back the president that won. Just even in our hometown, there's like a lot of Trump support.
Yeah.
So it's like real funny. Not funny. I guess funny. Like no one in our town's like extreme. Like doesn't think extreme.
God,
they vote who they want to vote.
There's this fuck. There was a sign the last time that I was there that was like, is America a khakistocracy? Look it up. And I was like, this is for sure someone that lives here and is like, they just don't know. Anybody that tries to vote like liberal down here, they just don't know. Google it. It's easy.
I did. I Googled it that one time and I was like, what is this? I had to fucking voice to text because I was like, what is this word?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what is this? And I don't even remember the definition. I was just like, this is stupid. I was like, who wastes their money on this? Some one of the fucking old white fucking rich farmers that has too much time on his hands.
Yep.
Fucking, I'm just like, dude, no, it's not a big deal, honestly. I'm like, nothing in town's gonna change if either fucking candidate gets fucking elected.
For like on a town level, probably not. Like, if your sister had to be like, hey, I need to get an abortion, fucking good luck, because you're having to leave the fucking state to do it. And that's like, that's no problem. But for on the city level, like having somebody be like, hey, things are gonna change in this town if the president, like, probably not, probably for you personally, like, especially if you're like part of a group where it's like, oh, for my existence is like a hot button topic, like having any friends that are trans, gay marriage is another thing where it's like, I don't know, that's kind of on the chopping block of things where it's like, well, maybe we'll go ahead and roll that back too. There's some precedent for that happening too. So it's like,
that does make sense why everyone's like, you gotta vote. And I never seen it as a big deal because of where I live. Mm-hmm. Like That's why I always say I'm like, it doesn't matter who fucking wins because nothing ever changes. Because I never see the changes because of the small fucking town I live in.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like really changes, and nothing like anything they put into effects like never really affected me on a personal level. I
Mm-hmm.
guess maybe like tax things do, but I never see it really.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
like as far as tax stuff goes, that's another thing where it's like, oh, I guess my like property or sales tax went up by like now if you were to look at it, you're like, oh, I spent like an extra $20 this year. Oh, that's wild. And it's like not much.
yeah, it really isn't. But like like people are different than me. Like people living in like New York or like big towns, like they don't own their own house or like they've never been in a house. They only like stay
Mm-hmm.
in apartments and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's different for them. For me, like I'm not well off. Like we got a house because of the government, but
Mm-hmm.
I guess our house taxes I think did go up like $100 or so.
Mm-hmm.
So like we save for it. We save for it throughout the year, so that way we could pay it at the end of the year.
Yeah. Which is
So
like that's fair.
yeah. I'm just saying. I never I've never been a big like what do they call it, like voter something, voter die or
Vote or
whatever.
die. Yeah.
I've never been like a big voter die guy. Like whatever. I'm just like it doesn't affect me. It's not a big deal.
Yeah. It's
So
a lot of it depends on
that's
how
small town think. That's small town thinking.
and it's also like you're a guy
I knew
and
it.
you like don't have like a partner that could like get an abortion, or you're like not like deeply entrenched with like anybody that
Yeah.
like is gonna have, especially like people that are trans, where it's like, oh, there's like a really serious push to try and detransition people, like people that have like people that were born male and have been women for fucking 30 years. Like, how are you gonna detransition that? Like, I don't, there's not a, what the fuck are you thinking of doing here?
Pump 'em full of testosterone.
Yeah, just get them back in there. Don't worry about the boobs, it's fine.
No, look, I got boobs. I'm all man. I got boobs.
Yeah, hell yeah. It's just,
Like, so what if I cry every time someone thinks I'm a woman? Who cares?
yeah, if I was single and like didn't pay attention to the politics, I'd probably also be there because like I'm a white dude, so like I can just go do anything that I want to go do, and there's not much systemically that's stopping me from doing anything that I want to do. Whereas,
I mean, define anything you want to do.
like get a house, or like generally walk around a store and be fine, or get a loan, or
Well, again, down here it's different because like there's a majority of Mexican people down here.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I feel like you're the odd one out if you came back down and were walking around the store.
Yeah, you were right, but it's weird because it's not like there's a it's a weird prejudice, like because I've told people that like, oh yeah, I experienced like, racism in my hometown, and there's a difference between systemic racism and like racist on like a I don't know, a personal level.
Yeah.
But like the sort of like prejudice that I've experienced is really weird because some like a good portion of the time it's people being like, hey, like especially if they're mad, they're like, oh, fucking white boy coming in here, oh yeah, you don't even know how to like pronounce this in Spanish, like, or whatever. Like it's exclusive in that way, where I'm like, oh well, that makes me feel kind of bad.
Yeah.
But the flip side is like every like business that I go into is like super nice and treats me really well. And like some of my like, especially people like you and Mike would sometimes go into like like a Walmart in the town nearby us and be like, oh yeah, I can see that like somebody's kind of following me around. I don't know what they
Yeah.
think I'm gonna do here, but like, come on, man.
I remember when we did that. We pointed it out to you, and you were like, "What?"
Yeah, I was like, why? Why would they do that? And they're like, fucking, yeah, of course you don't know.
Yeah, I was like, why? Because I got long hair, I'm brown, and he's big and wearing a muscle shirt.
Yeah, he's big and wearing a tank top. Fucking, He's a big Mexican dude wearing a tank top and coming into Walmart. We're here at 11 p.m. in the toy aisle. Obviously, we're doing some shit, right?
Yeah, you don't think anything of it, but like I'm like, okay, we gotta just make sure that we know that we're not stealing, but we gotta make sure that they know that we're not stealing by looking inconspicuous, and that's
we have to walk through the aisles with our hands up.
And it's hard to do. Yeah, you gotta walk with like your hands out. Don't have your hands in your pocket.
Yeah,
but like it's hard to do when you look like we do.
Yeah, you have your hands up. And you gotta be like, not stealing, not stealing, not stealing, not stealing. That's how you gotta walk.
Like there's the other person in the aisle just walks in like. He's not looking at the toys like we are. He's just like, oh, what a toy this is, and like he's side eyeing us, and we're like, dude, like we're not doing anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I get it. I don't look like a reputable person. Like I don't look like I have money to purchase the things that I'm gonna purchase.
Yeah.
So I get that. I wear cargo shorts. My hair's long. My skin's brown. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah, I get it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about me.
Listen, you're as pale as a ghost. Like you have a nice haircut. You have a family. Of course, you don't look like you're gonna steal.
Yeah, I used to wear glasses.
You used to wear glasses? Exactly.
Easy. I couldn't steal if I wanted to. I can't even see anything.
Whereas me, like. We're making jokes, but my family used to steal a lot. But we didn't do it for fun.
No,
we did it. We did it because we couldn't afford food.
Yeah, most people don't steal for fun, actually.
We would go to the HEB, and my mom and dad would steal food because we just didn't have money to afford it. We didn't do it like. Sometimes my dad would. Steal some extra like steaks to sell them to have money.
Yeah,
but that's also because like again we were poor. That's the difference we're trying to get here. Colby, he was well off. He wouldn't like know like where I came from if we didn't live in the same town. Like if I was just like, yeah, we stole for fucking. We stole food back in the day, a shitload, because that's what we did to survive. Like, it would be foreign to him if we didn't meet when we were younger.
Yeah, that definitely was a thing where, like, once I got into, like, college and then being an adult, you get more perspective on, like, how other people live and how, like, normally people aren't stealing because it's a fun thing. Normally people aren't like, I'm going to take this fucking TV because whatever. Especially if people are, like, getting food. Like nobody's stealing food to be like, I'm gonna get rich off of this. Fuck it. Fuck this store.
Yeah.
And like, so yeah, especially now, I definitely understand that like that's the thing. But like, while we were in high school, you would definitely be like, dude, my dad fucking put a whole brisket in his pants and took it, and I'd be like, why? Just pay for it.
We can't. We can't afford it.
I'm like, then you don't get it. I don't know what you want.
I guess we're not eating this week. I do remember you always like telling me that, like, why would he do that? Like,
yeah.
When I'd be like, oh look, my dad has his stealing pants on.
Yeah, like fucking stealing pants. Yeah.
It's we're very casual about it, but like it was normal to us because we had to do what we had to do to survive. It's just it was Colby didn't get it. He just thought that I don't know what you thought.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know why you just go in and just steal meat. Like, just don't. Just buy it. Like, that's the thing. That's how far the thought goes. It's not like, hey, this person stole something. And I'm like, well, they shouldn't do that. The next thought is like, why would they do that? Never got to that step. I'd be like, yeah, they shouldn't do that. All right, I'm done thinking about it. Anyway, I've got Halo to play.
That's it. Like, it's so funny. Like, because like I was going to work, so I could afford stuff that I wanted, and I would help out. But like, I couldn't help out that much. I was getting like $200 every 2 weeks.
Dude, yeah, that's the other thing. Is like, especially people like me and Mike would be like, if you're like, oh yeah, my dad just like stole a bunch of stuff at the grocery store. And we'd be like, you have a job. You can just give them money. And it's like, the money that you make working like 20 hours a week at a Whataburger is not enough to like feed your family, really? And also like, there's a weird pervasive culture of like, well, you shouldn't, you've only got to buy what you can. You don't need to have like luxury goods like video games or anything. And it's like, are poor people just never supposed to have fun or anything? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
It's bad enough. Like, I lived in a shack.
Yeah.
Can I just have one nice thing?
Just one.
Just let me have my PS2, just please.
Come on, man. You're like, oh yeah, I stole a new PlayStation game. Dude, why'd you steal it? You could just buy it. Nah, I didn't have enough money. I had to put gas. My parents asked me to put gas, and so I did that, and I had to pay for dinner, and like, well then fucking don't get the game. Just don't have fun.
It's, dude, like, man, when I was younger, like the summer, you hear this a lot from people, but the summers were intense, and like the winters were like fucking frigid.
Yeah, dude.
We had to go to sleep in like full like winter gear and like 2 blankets and have a fucking space heater in each room just to not feel fucking cold. And we didn't have like water, like a water heater, so our water was just always cold. So showering was a nightmare.
Yeah, I bet so.
So, and then like in the summer, man, it was so hot. It was like, if it was like 100 degrees outside, it was like 120 inside. So we'd you probably seen it, like when you'd come around the old house, the doors would be like wide open.
Yeah,
like
doors open,
doors.
box fans. Yeah,
box fans everywhere. Just like, it was miserable. But like back then, I guess, well, like you said, you've grown since then. But like back then, you were just like, oh, this is silly.
Yeah, why would you do that? Just get air conditioning.
That's why I liked being at your house, because I was never miserable.
Yeah. Dude, okay, like after I went to college and stuff, there was you and Mike came up to Austin for my birthday one time, and this was whenever I was with my ex-girlfriend, and I distinctly remember, like, there were a number of times during our relationship in which I was like, we should probably break up, but this one in particular, I was like, oh, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're so like on another planet right now. Is we went to go play laser tag, and we did one round, and then I was like, oh yeah, let's do another round. Like I want to do another round of laser tag. Here, I'll buy the tickets for everybody. And like my girlfriend just like pulled me aside, because like we were like, oh yeah, we should like play some arcade games, and like maybe we'll go to like, grab pizza or whatever later. And my girlfriend at the time pulled me aside and was like, I don't like this. I think they're taking advantage of you. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, I don't know. I think they're taking advantage of you. This doesn't seem right to just like, they're not spending any money. It's your birthday and they're not spending any money. And I'm like, they fucking like, in my brain, I'm like, they drove up here. They had to like pay money for gas to come up here. They're up here to hang out with me. I asked them to like take time out of their day. They may have had to take off work to come up here. And you think that I'm not going to spend an extra like $150 to hang out with my friends some more? Are you out of your fucking mind right now?
Yeah. and that was probably the case. We had probably told you, and she probably didn't hear it, that like, hey, we don't have a lot of money to spend.
Yeah.
Like we can get dinner and we can play some games, but like that's as far as it goes. And it probably clicked in your mind that like, well, I'll pitch in and pay extra for stuff.
Yeah.
And that's not always how it's been, but like I think after like you went into college, you started spending like, not spending extra, but like you started understanding that our situations were vastly different.
Yeah, very much different, in which like, so the amount of times that like whenever I was in high school or like early college, and we'd be like, oh yeah, like come spend the night, and then we're gonna go to Corpus, and you're like, yeah, I don't really have any money to like go to like the Chinese food buffet or whatever, and we'd be like, ugh, then don't fucking eat. It's like, dude, like you can't be like, yeah, come hang out with us for like 18 hours, then fuck off for 2 of them, and then come back afterward. Go be hungry somewhere else, poor.
Why do you think we always ate all your family's food when they offered it to us?
Yeah.
Fuck. It's because like that's the only time I got to eat like extravagant food.
Yeah.
I mean, we ate, but like your family would be like, eat all this fucking Creole,
yeah,
or eat all this stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, all right, I guess.
I think your parents caught on too, because they would always offer me like stuff that they didn't want.
Yeah, God, my mom, I don't know what happened, but like my mom purchased a bunch of soda from one of my nieces. Like it was some like Girl Scout thing, and she purchased a bunch of soda from my nieces, and by the time they got them to us, they were like a month expired. And my mom was like, oh, I don't know, this soda's like expired. And I was like, does soda expire? And she was like, well, taste it. And I tasted it and was like, oh, God, it's kind of flat and weird. And then she was like, yeah, do you think Fee would want it? And sure enough, the next time he came over, I was like, hey, we've got like 2 pallets of soda here that are like expired. Do you want them? And you're like, dude, hell yeah, I do.
That's just the kind of guy I am. I'll take it off your hands.
Yeah, listen, I'll haul it over to my house. Don't worry about it. It's all right.
Look, we just, you know, we just thought y'all were being nice, so we gladly accept any help.
Yeah.
At that time, like right now, we're like more well off, but we have our life together. It's just that, man, back in the day, we struggled.
Yeah.
Anyway, like, put that, man, that was a long talk on like the politics of being poor and like rich, and like that tells you like the 2 worlds that we came from, but like we're still like really good friends.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Kobe, you did want to talk about CrowdStrike, and I wanted you to talk about it. Like, we're late in the podcast, but
Yeah.
I want you to talk about it because I don't know anything about it. Like, people were going off about like, man, everything shut down. And fuck, I have no idea what this is.
Yeah. Listen, I'll give you a very brief overview. Basically, CrowdStrike is a piece of software that Microsoft, that Windows has. It's like an underlying kind of thing from a third-party company called CrowdStrike. And what it does is it identifies like threats, like viruses, malware, stuff like that. And in order to do that, the software is so deep down in the operating system that like whenever you start booting up your computer, that's one of the pieces of software that runs. It's like, okay, I got to boot up this CrowdStrike thing, right? So what happened is CrowdStrike pushed an update, and it's very obvious they didn't test this update. Like the problem that happened would have happened immediately for anyone. And so
they blamed it on this one guy.
Yeah, which is what they probably should have, because it probably was one guy or one team. But I'm sure inside CrowdStrike, they're like, oh, well, we needed to get this out fast, and we just didn't do the checks. But the effect that this had is that every Windows computer that got this dynamic update just couldn't turn on anymore. Just none of them would turn on because basically this CrowdStrike software, what it does is it's deployed. It's got like an engine that's built in that's been certified by Microsoft. Microsoft is like, this is good. It'll work. We promise that it works on hardware. But what it does is it gets new files to say like, oh, this is a new type of virus to look for. Like, hey, I'm going to modify this thing that looks for this virus. And those things aren't checked. Someone pushed out a bad one of those, and it was bad enough that it was like, hey, try to load up this file. And that file doesn't exist. So it just dies while the computer is trying to start up. And so that's why you have a bunch of computers that just like blue screen. Every Windows computer that updated and had like CrowdStrike on it at all just blue screened. So this
Thank
initially,
God I didn't have it.
yeah, initially like most businesses that have like security software like are like have this, and so it was a wild
Beans.
Do what?
I accidentally kicked Beans in the ass.
Beans. So like imagine every enterprise thing that has software on it that was just fucking dead. So flights, most airlines crash. Like it was Delta, United, American Airlines, like all of them grounded because they can't access like the boarding list, so they can't see like, oh, this is the plane that you're supposed to be on. Yeah, you're supposed to be on this plane in this ticket. And like the rescheduling system didn't work because like all those computers had to be updated. And it wasn't like, because it was so deep in the operating system, there wasn't like an automatic thing that they could push out to fix it. Basically, they pushed a fix pretty quickly, but what you had to do is like turn on your computer and then just hope that the network started before CrowdStrike did, and then it downloaded the most recent CrowdStrike stuff before CrowdStrike started. And so they were like, yeah, if it blue screens to death, just like if you reboot it anywhere between 5 and 30 times, it'll probably work at some point. Which that was like the guidance, but absolute bullshit.
Fucking Skynet over there.
Yeah.
Like every computer just fucking, oh my god. I remember hearing about that and I was just like, I have a Windows computer.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have CrowdStrike though, and I was just like, what's going on? I'm gonna need a new computer? I'm like, I can't afford that. No.
Yeah. Like, and just as the day went on, it was just more and more businesses. So like Starbucks couldn't do any online ordering. Like they could do ordering in the store, but if you tried to like use the app, it was down. You couldn't do the flights. Like all flights are being rerouted and rescheduled. And even today, like this thing happened less than a week ago. Still been like a weekish. And Delta still has people that are like getting delayed from when that initial day happened. So like nothing has recovered, and a bunch of businesses like doctors' offices, especially like any medical system, it's like, oh, I can't check you in because none of us can turn on our computers. Well, shit. Absolutely ridiculous.
I wonder if like the company that did this is getting like some kind of lawsuit or something.
There is a class action lawsuit that's being prepped. Yeah. CrowdStrike is like, I think one of the funniest things that I saw is somebody on like Wall Street Bets is a subreddit that's like about ridiculous stock purchases and doing stuff like, I'm going to put $20,000 into this stock no one's ever heard of because I think it's going to work out. YOLO. There was a post like 6 hours before this started from somebody that was like, I think CrowdStrike is really overvalued and I think they're actually pretty bad, and like a bunch of stuff about how it's spyware and it doesn't actually work that well. And they were like, yeah, so like I'm betting that the stock price is going to go down and put a lot of money into it. And then 6 hours later, the entire world shut down because of CrowdStrike. It's like, oh God. Shit, dude.
That guy's insider trading. Get him.
Yeah, get him. Get him in front of Congress right now.
That just seemed a little bit too coincidental. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But man, that sucks. Like, I remember hearing about it and everyone's going crazy, and it, again, small town, doesn't affect me. So I was like, what is everyone seeing this? So I was like, I don't see it.
Yeah, I imagine if like you went to like a grocery store like H-E-B maybe, or some other places like that, I'm sure they had like, they're like, oh, our systems are down right now. We can't, I don't know, check you out or whatever the fuck. But yeah, not a good time fun to be having like a Windows computer that controls your whole business.
Yeah, man. Oh, so that's good to know. Like I had no idea about it. So that's interesting. I meant to ask you when it happened, or ask you and Jeremy, because I'm sure y'all could fucking talk my ear off about it. But yeah, I was like, I'll wait.
Jeremy's our friend who's like an IT professional, and he was like, yeah, I had to spend all day going into machines and deleting this file and restarting it, and like the fix for it, if you were going to fix it manually, was so long because like you can't get into the operating system. So you had to have like, you had to boot it up into a special mode and then find this file and delete the file and then restart it. And none of your usual tools would work. So like you could do it in person, but it was really hard to do it via networking. Fucking, like an absolute nightmare. The worst possible scenario for people that are like in IT, I think.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I didn't want to bother him. I was like, he's probably got a lot on his plate.
Yeah, you're probably in the shit right now, aren't you, huh?
Yeah, too much for me to be like, so what is this? But yeah, I guess that's all that happened, and I'm good to know. Good to know I don't have, keep an eye out for CrowdStrike and don't have it on my computer.
Yeah.
I don't usually download stuff onto my computer anyway that's not like game related, so I should be fine. But yeah, I guess that's it for today, Colby.
Yeah, listen, I hope that next week we have fewer things to talk about in the real world. I'd like to talk about video games again. You can listen to this live if you're here already at twitch.tv/GoGettasPod. Welcome. Otherwise, you should come and hit that follow button. You'll know whenever we go live, so you can listen to the podcast live. We go live anywhere between 0 and 2 times a week. But if you want to catch the video replay, you can catch it on our channel, youtube.com/@GoGettasPodcast. All of our podcasts are there. They get uploaded every Wednesday, which is whenever we upload podcasts. They get uploaded at noon Pacific. But if you want to listen to the audio version that has slightly better audio, you can also listen to it on any podcatcher. That's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, any of them. That will go up on Wednesday at 3 a.m. Pacific time, so you can listen to it on your way to work. And you could also check out our shorts. Our shorts kick ass. Maybe one of the best parts about this whole thing. So go check it out at youtube.com/@GoGettasPodcast or on our TikTok or on our Instagram.
Yeah, I gotta get more timestamps for Zeta. I've been so fucking swamped at work. I haven't had the time to listen.
Yeah,
for fucking clips.
I think it's funny because your version of swamped at work is having to actually do a job.
Don't fucking come at me, dude. Not right now.
Not right now. I'm in no mood. I had to work today.
I actually had to work. I couldn't just sit down and catch up on my anime.
I'm so behind on things.
I am. Jeez. But I have to do. I have to. We got new people. That's the only reason. But I gotta get on it. That's a me problem. Anyway, here's what I want you to do.
Yeah.
I want I want you to make a new software for Macs.
Ooh.
Because Windows has enough shit.
Write it.
I want you to put it out as this new life-saving software.
Get it in there.
And when it goes out and like crashes everyone's system, I want you to get all your bags, pack them up, and move to Mexico, and go get them mojitos. Go get them.
Go get them. Can you imagine that? Just like there was one moment in my life in which I was like, I'm never going to recover from this, and I felt like I was dying inside. Like, can you imagine being so embarrassed and so like over the top? I'm having an awful time doing this that you're like, all right, I just live in a different place now. I'm gonna pack all my bags and I'm gonna buy a one-way ticket at the airport to go anywhere.
I never understood how people who like do something so drastically bad that they have to leave the country and start a new life. I never understand how they could just do that. It's so wild to me. Well, I guess the alternative is spending your life in jail, but
yeah, depending on how illegal it is. But this is one of those things that's not illegal. It's just like, I imagine you get fired for this, and somebody's like, "Oh yeah, you were at that place where this thing happened. You weren't the one that did that, were you? Or because you left right around that time."
No, not me. I just went on vacation.
No, I would never.
I did not do that.
And can you imagine that, like, instead of it being blamed on a company, they specifically blame you? Like, it's that fast. It's like, oh, it's not Securisoft's problem. It's Fee. Fee produced this problem and ruined the whole world. And from that time on, everybody's like, wait a second, are you Fee? And you're like, no.
No.
Why'd you think that?
That's dude. That's big. That's big company. Fucking. They would do that. They fucking shift the blame.
Yeah.
It's that guy's fault.
It's definitely Fee's fault. Hey, if you see him, you tell him we're looking for him.
Go get him.
Go get him.
Later. Bye.